I've got the ritual down, and that is to go see Marianne, the matriarch of my family, at a skilled nursing care facility here in Chattanooga, on the way into the studio. So rather than leaving the house at 8, I leave at 7 and go by Life Care of Hickson, where she is in room 208. And she's already in her chair. I favor that she just stays in her clothes all the time, and that's apparently what's happening. She's in her slacks and in her silk blouse that she made many years ago, sitting in her wheelchair with her tray rolled up in front of her, awaiting. There's a kind of, yes, not a tray, but it's kind of a little platform, waiting for the breakfast tray. And when I arrived there this morning, I saw that she was ready for breakfast, though not perhaps in the spirit. And I greeted her and lay aside the newspaper and a coffee that I had drunk at Panera Posse, where I go every Friday morning to round up the bad guys and put the money back in the bank. And I darted down to the kitchen and asked for her tray, and was told, well, the lady who took the tray for that part of that wing has just gone that way. So I chased after Jaquisha, and I said, can I have Marianne's tray? And so she handed it to me, and I got immediately to work. And it is a bit of work when you have the matron is 94 and not in the best spirits. She's been there about 11 days, has 20 days of therapy, overcoming a broken fractured pelvis, and also a clot in her lungs, which is lethal for most people who get them. It's called a saddle clot, or a saddle embolism, and it's being eaten away slowly by blood thinner. But she's in peril of her life every moment, and yet is struggling along. And I sat down. Hey, Mom, how are you doing? Trying to be a bright and cheerful presence for her. She had her oxygen on. And so I began with the round piece of sausage. She's not much of a sausage person, but she's been taking them down as I give them to her. I want her to eat, because without protein, starting there with the sausage, then with the egg, without protein, she's just not going to survive. And she seems to be, if it were, as I said to a son yesterday who was visiting, or one of my two sons, one visiting, one is a resident. I said, well, your grandmother seems to be a plane that's taken flak in an engine, and it's smoking, and it's drifting away from the formation and going slowly down. That seems to be a graphic picture of this old soul who is the widow of the TVA engineer, my dad, and the daughter of of course, obviously a late federal congressman in Switzerland. She's a Swiss emigre who has been here for 60 years and speaks with a heavy Swiss accent that all the help at that center find very delightful, especially when she insists that her name is not Marianne, Maryann, but Marianne, which is the French spelling Marianne. The delicate, Parisian version of that sort of vulgarly enunciated American form. She's Marianne, and she'll say that with a certain pride, and then she'll click out, "I'm Swiss," she says. "I'm Swiss," and everyone's supposed to say ooh and ah. And yesterday at lunch, sitting to my left, my mother was on my right, sort of huddled in her wheelchair, was a lady who had actually traveled. She had traveled the world. She said she'd been to 17 countries, and one of them was Switzerland, which she said was very clean. And my mother was gratified at that, as I forced into her, between her teeth, another piece of meat from the main dish at the dinner table yesterday. And I ate too. So $5 for the ticket. And since I don't eat out much, I'm always economizing. David Toole is always economizing, eating it from my lunch pail. It's kind of a treat to go to Life Care Fiction and have lunch or have dinner for $5. In a restaurant, you'd be spending $9 or $13 or $14 for the same good food. But that's my morning, and it's a ritual. I've finally figured out that I have to be there for all her meals, or she'll just wither up, she'll dry up, and the declension through the clouds, if you will, the German Heinkel is in the picture I have in my mind, with one engine smoking and a long flimsy trail of smoke, oily smoke from behind. over the Battle of Britain. That's the picture I have in my mind. And I compare my mother to that, and her declension will be more rapid if I don't get the meat between her teeth. She's missing 2 bottom front teeth or 2 top front teeth, but she still has all of her teeth, and she has her hair. And I've told her before, Mom, thin hair. She always says, my hair's thin. It's thin. It's always been like that, and my family's had bad hair. And I said, but Mom, at least you have it. At least you have it. It's very rich, very thin gray hair on the top of her head. And I'm afraid that I'm thinking that she's doesn't have a strong will to live, and especially when you're buffeted by hospitalization, as she was for a week in medical intensive care with the embolism, and then there for a week, and now she's in this other place where she's been before. And some of the people remember her and remember me, David Toulis. And I'm your host here, David Toulis, with Nigger Radio 92.7 FM, trying to make an old soul live whose will for that has weakened. And sometimes I think my mom is kind of sorry for herself. She'll say she's had enough, no more, and sometimes she'll cry out at me, "Don't force me." And then she'll lower her chin, and her head will kind of bob as she sits there in the wheelchair. And she gives me the impression that she somehow is sorry for herself. And somehow I'm not pleased with her. She's not willing to cooperate. She's sort of non-compliant, uncooperative, especially with the oxygen. First, when she arrived there about 10 days ago, she had to have the mask on for oxygen. But finally, I convinced her by just sheer putting my nose against her nose, looking her sweetly in the face and saying, "Mama, this is good for you." And Mama, the cannula, the little 2 things that they put in your nostrils, right? One in the left, one in the right. It's really much better because then you can talk and be heard. You can eat, you can drink with a straw. And she finally graduated to that. And it was just sheer persistence. And though she very strong left arm, her right arm, her left arm is broken. Has been broken for several years, the surgery to put the steel rod in not having held. So she has one very good arm, very strong, and she would press against me. "No, I don't want that. It hurts. It hurts." And I say, Mama, it doesn't hurt. It's just uncomfortable. And then suddenly there's a flash of reason in her eyes, and she says, "Yes, I just don't like it." And I said, but please, yes, you're right, Mom. It doesn't hurt. Thank you for saying that. It's just uncomfortable. And then you know what? Within 2 minutes, she has forgotten all about it. She doesn't even know it's there. And I'm thankful to God and relieved. Jan, my wife, asked me, "David, what is the state of her soul? What is her Christian conviction like?" Well, my mother is part of the pietist tradition, about which I hope to mention in just a minute, from the book "The Protestant Ethic and the Spirit of Capitalism" by Max Weber. I've said Franz Weber, but it's Max Weber, 1920. It's a classic study, and I confess that while I love to read, and I would like to be more than just a leader, but a prophet, by having read more than 5 books. Right, this is one of the ones that I should put under my belt. But the pietism is mentioned in this as a declension, a decline, if you will, in Calvinism, and in that ethic of the spirit of capitalism. Lutheranism ate away at the ethic of capitalism in Calvinism. So anyway, but I mentioned pietism, which is in that story, is part of my mother's story. Pietism, of course, is that reaction in Protestantism against the rigor and the asceticism of the Reformation. What was discovered in the Bible was the strong work ethic. And I want to just mention my mother in this context, and also local economy and the free market. And you, my listener, and you're listening, of course you can. Sure. Yeah, you got the number? That's 800-894. That's 800-894. Call me, and what I'm saying to you is not a soliloquy, okay? It's not a speech. It's just that I have the wonderful opportunity, the blessed privilege of being here with you, my listener, and relating here a little bit about this soul, withered soul in the body and in the heart, maybe. She is when she was a girl in Zurich. There was a noted preacher who came to the
Minster, I think the name is the twin-spired church along the Limmat river that flows out of Lake Zurich. And she went there, and she with her old aunt, they were Christians. They were Pietists, and the Pietist movement was a reaction against Calvinism. Okay, Calvinism, the most powerful thought and process the world has ever known, and it was rediscovered from the scriptures by Lord Luther, and of course before them there were several others, Savonarola in Italy or in Spain, and there were several others, some preceding the Reformation by a couple hundred years. And in this discovery of God, if you will, there was this bringing out of the spirit of capitalism, very self-denying. But against, and you can summarize what we have here in Chattanooga and Helena County as the fruits of Calvinism, much diluted, and we are very weak for it, and much put upon the press because we have rejected these biblical concepts that Calvin articulated and enunciated in his Institutes, the 2-volume Institutes of the Christian Religion. But Pietism was a reaction against that. Okay, Pietism reacted against the comprehensive, militant, hard work, striving, dominating concepts of liberty and service, which are the fruits of Christianity. Christianity has as its great ethic. The great concept is the sovereignty of God, and the great ethic is service to others and improving our lot and serving our fellow men. And Pietism was a reaction against that because Calvinism was so intellectual and so policy oriented. Right? Calvinism goes into law, it goes into war making, it goes into production, it goes into technology. It pushes man to excel. And we can trace this out in many volumes, and Mark Weber does a very good job of that in 1920 in his book. I'm holding it up here for our YouTube viewer and our Facebook viewer. It's called The Protestant Ethic and the Spirit of Capitalism, and I've got the revised 1920 edition. It's with a great discussion by Stephen Kahlberg, a professor in it. And where was I now? Well, Pietism was just a reaction, and the reaction was, I've had enough of this systematic theology. Okay, I've had enough of how the world is to be arranged according to God's law, God's government, and the operations of grace. It's too much. It's too intellectual. What about my private life? So Pietism, from Max Spener and Franz and another German theologian in the Lutheran part of Germany, discovered the individual private nature of the gospel again. Okay, and so what happened was there was a dilution of this great strength of Calvinism that creates industry, right? That creates innovation, that creates the ferocious demand for freedom and liberty. Those are the things that come in Calvinism. So Lutheranism made compromises, and so did Spener and his adherence to Pietists. And my mother is from that tradition, so she has a Pietistic tradition. Still, there is very personalistic emphasis. It's all about your personal love for God, your inner thought life, your covetings and your lustings, right? Are you in control of those? Do you pray enough? Again, the internal life of the Christian man, thinking about others, praying for others, denying yourself in the private, local sense, okay? And that's my mother. So you'd think that Pietism would have a strong personal conviction about God. So she does have that, but it's not very sturdy somehow in my perception. And so I'm praying for her. I'm thinking, as Jeanette, my wife, suggested, that I need to be kind of reminding her of the truths, right? And what that means for me, practically speaking, is that when I go there, I need to have my scriptures, and probably need to just read the scriptures to her. And then I'm going to offer David, the man in charge of social services, well, David, I'm here. I'm going to be here for a couple hours this afternoon, and I'm going to be reading some scriptures to my mom. Should I invite everybody else? So what I'll probably do is have kind of a public reading of the scriptures down there for people who want to hear it. And my goal, of course, is for my mother. I'm doing it for her, but I don't want my effort to be wasted or too private, right? I want it to be as public as possible. So with God's grace, I'll be able to do that in the next few days I have with her there. But I think we'll be taking her home And of course, there are many calls I have to make about caregivers and whom can help me with the you might say the wonderful task of looking after her because she is in decline and her will is weakening. And while her will to live weakens and her systems weaken, and her stomach is, she's losing body mass, and as that happens, I want her to have a stronger love for God, and not be too worldly centered and too abstractified, too distant. I want her to have that sense of personal connection with me and with her. She has a grandson visiting with my wife, and we have one son at home still. So we all will be looking after her, and that I think is better. An institutional setting is good, but don't forget the people there are hired. And there's nothing like being cared for when you are ill or when you are in the shadows than by a son or daughter. And no matter how you rationalize professional care, government paid for, insurance paid for, there is nothing better than having one of your own family look after you. Now, to get to this question, as I was saying yesterday, and do feel free to call here, David Toulis, love to chat with you. My listener, the number is 800-8949, 800-8949. This morning, I got up at 2:45. I should say I woke up, and I had half an hour before the bell rang. And so I said, well, before I get to my Bible reading, which I think I slighted today, I said, well, let me finish The Victory of Reason, How Christianity Led to Freedom, Capitalism, and Western Success by Rodney Stark. It's several years old, and I neglected finishing it, and so I did. And I said, well, one of the main points about the end of the volume is that the Christianity, especially Protestant Christianity, and here's a Roman Catholic saying that the Protestantism brought about what we have here in Chattanooga. And that is, again, and I want to try to crystallize, if you'll let me, just give me a couple minutes here, to crystallize what these things are from Christianity. Christianity, of course, is what God has given us. It operates by the power of the Holy Spirit according to basic biblical teaching. The Holy Spirit makes God work upon the face of the earth and mankind, and in man's affairs, and in the doings of nations, corporations, peoples, tribes, tongues, and then, of course, individuals. He doesn't work just in individuals. God works providentially, pursuant to His decree in every level at all. And culture is simply religion externalized. Your culture and your part of the neck of the woods, your realms here in the Chattanooga area or beyond, if you are just tuning in from a far place, is effectively could be described as religion externalized. Culture is religion externalized. In other words, whatever people believe about God, whether it's a real God or a false God, whether it's Moloch, whether it's the progressive state that we worship, or whether it's the true God, the culture that we have is the externalization of these, the mass sum of all these individual systems of belief. Okay, so that's what culture is, and culture is not the product of any one man, but of course individuals such as Calvin and Luther and Marx. I mean, they were sovereigns in their field, and they created vast empires that have lived on hundreds of years after them, making culture what it is. So there are, of course, men of tremendous influence. Now, what is it that we have here in Chattanooga that and I need to get to the news. Forgive me for not getting to the Dakota, the North or South Dakota ruling that from the Supreme Court that is going to allow now Governor Haslam to roll into action the internet sales tax that Andy Sherritt in the Times-Press, the Nashville correspondent, says reports has cost the state $450 million a year estimated in sales taxes, and so we need to get to that. And I wanted to mention Aaron Mittelstadt, who's the founder of a new business here in Chattanooga. It's a clothing line. It's called the line's called Knit and Maddie, and it's the brand is Anna Victoria, local business, but she does a lot of internet sales. I'm wondering how this ruling will affect her. The ruling won't affect her directly, but what will happen is that the state government, the Department of Revenue, which has already enacted regulations, which I believe were submitted to the General Assembly and passed. Those will be taken into effect. I'm sure Anna Middlestat has already heard from her consultant or her account about the meaning of that. And it is an empowering ordinance enforced by the Economic Development Department of Mayor Andy Berg. David Julius.
3, 2, 1.
Chattanooga Radio. Digital FM 95.3 HD4. 92.7 FM's news now.
The Cleveland Police Department says a 2-year-old boy was hit by a dark-colored truck which then drove away. That 2-year-old was whisked to the hospital where he's recovering well. The police say it started when a mother of 3 was crossing the street with